Well, as expected, today the United States government shut down, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers were told not to report for duty, and many national park facilities are closed, and some veteran support services are curtailed, new small business loans are on hold, and while core food safety inspections continue, other agricultural programs have paused. This isn't just a political failure, it's the Constitution flipping a switch. At midnight, Congress failed to pass a funding bill, and under the Anti-Deficiency Act, a law built on Article 1's power of the purse, the federal government isn't legally allowed to spend money it doesn't have, so agencies begin to shut down. But that's only half the story. Because just hours before the shutdown, two of the largest federal employee unions filed suit against the White House Budget Office and the Office of Personnel Management. The lawsuit claims the admin is pushing unlawful plans to prepare for mass layoffs during the shutdown. Real layoffs, not just temporary furloughs. According to the plaintiffs, these directives violate federal labor law, due process protections, and the basic principle that civil service jobs shouldn't be used as political leverage. OPM guidance issued just days ago allows agencies to keep some staff working during the shutdown to prepare those layoffs. And that's what triggered the lawsuit. So now, we're watching two branches of government collide. Article 1 gives Congress the power to fund the government, and they haven't. Article 2 gives the president authority to manage the executive branch, including its workers. But can that authority include reshaping the civil service during a funding lapse? This actually is not the first time we've faced this tension. In 1796, the House refused to fund the Jay Treaty unless President Washington turned over private negotiation documents, and Washington refused. He cited the separation of powers. The House eventually backed down, but it was one of the first major constitutional standoffs over funding. And nearly 2 centuries later, the 1980 OLC opinions under Jimmy Carter's DOJ gave modern shutdowns their legal teeth, interpreting the Anti-Deficiency Act strictly enough to force agencies to go dark when Congress fails. And after the assassination of President Garfield in 1881, the Pendleton Act established the merit-based civil service, trying to protect government jobs from political manipulation. That's the same protection now being tested in court. Before we carry on, I want to take a quick moment to thank James M. James dedicated this episode to his high school social studies teacher, Mr. Myers, who, in his words, gave him the foundation and curiosity to be a lifelong participant in American civic life. James went to the link you're seeing on screen and requested this dedication, and that's why you're hearing it now. If you'd like to dedicate a future story to someone in your life, visit the link in my bio or the one you see here on screen. All right, back to the story. So, if a president can use a shutdown to carry out mass layoffs, critics warn the shutdown stops being a pause, it becomes a tool, a lever of control. And if Congress's failure to fund the government becomes a reason for the executive branch to reshape who stays and who goes, then we've crossed a line the founders spent decades trying to draw. So here's the question. If you had to place that line yourself, where would you draw it?